CEO, Ross Marino.
So I saw a slide yesterday in Brian Portnoy and Joy Leary's presentation. I think Brian's probably running around here somewhere, and it had a statistic up there. You know, sometimes you see a slide with a sentence and a statistic, and you think, oh, I get that. I've been doing this for a while. And then you see a slide and think, no way. So here's the slide. It was a question. What percent of clients who work with a financial advisor feel that they have someone they can talk to about money? If you were in the session, it doesn't count. I hear the whispers over there. Anybody take a guess? Somebody yell out a number. Who wasn't at Brian's session yesterday? I guess 50. Like you guys. I think I did that just because it was in the middle and I had no clue. I tried to think through that. Why do I yell 50? Like, yeah, that's probably it. It was 64%. So these are the people that work with a financial advisor, and almost 2/3 of them say, I don't have someone I can talk to about money. What's up with that? So I start going through the questions in my brain. That's how I try to think. I do question storming instead of brainstorming. So I'm tapping out on my phone the questions. Well, if they're not talking about money, what are they talking about? And then it hit me. I'll bet they're not doing the talking. I'll bet it's the advisor who's talking over and over. They're talking about money, but the client, they don't feel like they're talking about the money. And then I thought about the updates that I do with my clients. And then it kind of hits you. I'm like, yeah, I talk a lot. I probably talk way too much. I think that's the theme of this conference. The human side, the financial side. That's an example why it's so critical for me and why it's so critical for you. Because when we do updates, when we answer questions to clients, when they have legitimate concerns, we're answering on the financial side. I do it. I don't want to do it all the time. I want to be human first. I'm not always human first. A couple examples that I think everybody can relate to. Got the email a couple weeks ago. Client said, I want to pull out of the market until things settle down. Yeah, I know. Sorry, you just have to laugh, right? I want to pull out of the market until things settle down. What do you think they're talking about? They think they're talking about the markets. If I'm financial first, my first thought is, well, I can talk to them about the VIX and tell them about historic volatility and all this other blah, blah, blah stuff that will have absolutely no impact on that client. Markets don't settle down. People settle down. And by the time this person settles down, you know how it goes, the market will be up 50%. But if I can think human first, whenever I get that type of response from somebody or a question, maybe I'll answer it correctly. Now, how do I do that if I'm not really sure what's going on? Here's going to be my shortcut that I'll share with everybody here. I may not always know what's going on with the client because when they ask a question, they may ask A, but the issue's B. And I learned this because I've been married for over 30 years. Yeah, you get that, right? The question's A. Oh man, this is a trick question. I know it. It's a trick question. What is she really asking me? Right? The answer is B. So when a client asks a question or they make a statement that I may not know what's going on, I got my two go-to questions. Well, can you tell me what you're thinking and how you're feeling? And then I stop. An amazing thing happens. I ask people questions, you're not going to believe what they do. They answer them every single time. So I put it on Post-it notes. I try to remind myself, what are you thinking? How are you feeling? To start the conversation so I can tap into the human side. The other example, it's something we get to do every 4 years. It's the presidential election. 9 o'clock, I do my Zoom update meeting. Ross, I got to tell you, I'm pretty concerned here because everybody seems to be saying, right, you know what's coming, right? Everybody seems to be saying we'll start the win, if Trump wins, markets are going to crash. They're dead serious. And then they give me the reasons that they saw on the pseudo news program of why the market would crash. And then I do the 10 o'clock Zoom meeting. Oh, Ross, I'm so glad we're doing an update. I got to tell you, everybody's been saying, if Trump loses, markets are going to crash. Dead serious. And I have this conversation back and forth, and we do the dance every 4 years. I may think about the financial side when that happens and say, well, you know, according to presidential elections, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes I do that. I've done that in the past. Does that help? Yeah. Do you do that too, or is it just me? Right? It's instinctive, because I'm a financial planner, so let me tell you how the markets work, because I actually know. Right? But what I really have to do is approach the human side and figure out how to connect the dots for these people. How do I get to what they're really thinking? I ask the question. So what are you thinking? What are you feeling? Here's what I find out, at least with my clients, they're not nuts. The risk factors that they're bringing up, they're legit. It's not the end of the world type stuff. It's like, well, this could happen and that could happen. You're right, that could happen. But it doesn't mean it's going to happen. Human first, it's the way you have to approach it. And then the last example, I can really pick on myself on this one, because I don't know how long it took me to really grab a hold of this one. If I actually figured it out, I probably wouldn't admit it on a microphone. But it's the difference between income and withdrawals. I did an interview with Jamie Hopkins a few months ago, podcast, and I know he really understands this stuff well, so that's one of the questions I wanted him to talk about. Tell me the difference between income and withdrawals. If I'm just the financial guy, they're practically the same thing to me, because come on, it's an IRA and it's ordinary income, right? Same thing. And then I want to have a conversation about how total return matters most. And then I would explain that to a client and they'd say, okay, so how much income can I take? Like, am I on? Are we having a conversation here? The shift is that income is something that I thought people wanted. And then guaranteed income. And I'm calling myself out on this. I think guaranteed income, do you know what the whole portfolio is going to make if we just stay invested long term? I thought guaranteed income was something that people wanted. But then, as I learned the human side, I realized that for some people, it's not a want. They need guaranteed income. And I learned it the hard way, because they go get it somewhere else. And you eventually find out 10 years later when you're having the conversation that, oh yeah, well, I've got the annuity. I'm sorry? What was that annuity? Because they needed it, didn't quite get it. So I didn't provide it for them. This is the human side of financial planning. Do I want someone to have 100% guaranteed income and then pay off all their debts? Sure, a little extreme. But I have to figure out how to combine the human side and the financial side. That's what's in someone's best interest. The only way I can do that is to make sure I spend time understanding what someone's thinking and how they're feeling, and then figure out what I can advise them or guide them to do. And that's the difference. I've gone through it over years, still learning. I'm on, I think, year 33 as a financial planner, and I don't want to sound kind of boastful about it, but I think I'm starting to get it. And I'm connecting the dots, and I really think I'm at that point of, okay, I've got to consider both sides. I think I'm getting it. Another 10, 20 years, I'm probably going to be pretty smart. So I'm going to stay after it. I'm going to keep learning, keep coming to conferences, keep thinking, keep reading. It's a lifelong project, I think, for all of us. If we can do that, that's the most impact that we will make with